Hey everybody, welcome back to my carving shed. Today we are going to cover the topic of staining skulls using leather dye. Great option, so let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start talking, covering some of the advantages, however you say that, to using leather dye for staining skulls. And then while I do that, I'm going to stain this beautiful fox skull that I carved. Now, don't hold it against me. I don't use color a whole lot in my skull carving, so this may not turn out to be all that great. But there's plenty of people out there who do a phenomenal job incorporating color into a skull carving. Now, advantage, or not really an advantage, you do have a lot of options for colors when it comes to staining. So obviously this is not a natural dye, but you have a lot of options as far as color, which is awesome, just because it's hard to get a wide range of colors with stuff like berries and walnut husk and stuff like that. This is, or would consider this, a penetrating stain as opposed to a surface stain. And what I mean by that is when you put this on, it is going to soak into the bone, opposed to just being a layer of stain on top of the bone. You can use this as a surface stain if you put a clear coat on the skull prior to applying this, but it just does such an awesome job staining that I personally wouldn't recommend it. It does seep. You are going to have to deal with that. Just kind of think of it as like a watercolor on paper, where it is going to seep into the area around where you are staining. Possibly larger designs might be better for this, but as you can see on this skull, I'm trying to manipulate it in a way that it's not just all one big blob of color. Now, one thing I really do like about a leather dye is that it soaks into the bone, leaving all of the detail of the bone intact, or your carving for that matter. Some stains or paints, you put it on and it just covers up some of the real fine detail of the bone, but with the leather dye it's going to soak in. It's not going to make a covering whatsoever on the bone, so you really just maintain a lot of that nice detail of the skull. Now, with a penetrating stain, it is imperative that the skull that you are working with is free of grease. Otherwise, the stain will not soak into the bone correctly, or you'll get kind of blotchy spots where it'll soak in some areas and then not. So just make sure that your skull is free of grease prior to applying any type of penetrating stain for that matter. Now, I am using Angelus leather dye. Not a sponsor, although feel free to sponsor me, guys. Anyhow, just because I love the quality. They have a ton of options, honestly, just a ton of options as far as colors go. I have used other stuff. As you can see, there are other brands out there, but Angelus is just great quality and lots of options for colors. If the first coat that you put on isn't dark enough, you can simply just add on another coat, or keep adding coats until the color gets as dark as you want it to be. And I forgot to mention, do wear gloves, as this does soak into your skin. Okay, so like I said, using color on skulls is not my personal forte, so this may not be the best example of what you can do with a leather dye, but you get the idea. And if you want to learn more, kind of more in depth on just staining skulls in general, that's usually kind of the most nerve-wracking part of carving a skull, is the last part of staining it. I have a skull staining course completely free. I'll leave a link in the description of this video, and really all it is 6 videos, and I just dive in deep into exactly what you need to do to stain skulls and do it where you know what you're actually doing. I use a lot of different examples of my personal work and things I've learned. So 6 videos, it's not long at all. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks for watching this video. Do give leather dyes a try. Again, sorry I couldn't create something a little better, but you get the idea. Again, an excellent product. I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys, and do feel free to subscribe if you learned something. All right, thanks, guys.